So you're going to do, Dennis, this once every week?
Well, that was the plan, but if people are not going to show up, then I think what I'm going to do instead is record these better or successful club series presentations with my own little spin and post them. That way people can watch them at their leisure. But if we were going to have meetings like this, then I would want it to be a conversation. My goal is to have a 20-minute presentation from the successful club series, followed by 40 minutes of just discussion.
Oh, I found out at World Headquarters that they're not getting rid of the successful club series. And I applauded that. They weren't exactly able to tell me how they were going to keep them. They were going to keep them.
Yeah, I had a similar discussion with World Headquarters because I know that you taught me how to use the successful club series in the other presentations to engage.
Really? Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely, you told me why it was a good thing to do, and I picked it up and ran with it. I think you're the one who specifically told me if somebody shows up and they don't have a speech ready, you hand them the successful club series and say, go practice in the corner. Didn't you tell me that?
Oh, yes, sir, I did. I've done it many times. And the club appreciated the fact that the person got into it.
Yeah.
And did a good job. At Diablo, we actually had so many new people coming in that I convinced the leadership that they should do this as a 15-minute training block in a 2-hour session just to educate people. And it was Brendan who told me that he was very disappointed that the pathways did not address the competent communicator steps, you know, or any of those other ones in there, and I had to agree with him. I brought that up, incidentally. And I received one person who said, we're working on that, and another person who said, what's that? Something.
On the other hand,
yeah.
And this is something that came up when I went for district governor training 10 years ago. They have always said people should do 3 speeches before they do an evaluation. Now, that is baked into pathways.
Yes.
So that's a good thing. And then mentoring. Always talked about mentoring and how important it is. Now it's baked into the second level. So these are good things. It's not like they threw out the baby with the bathwater. They actually put some additional soap in there.
No, I think they gave it some thought. I would agree. The shock was that a lot of people weren't able to see what was coming in the next level.
Right.
And they'll be able to see that. And they'll be able to choose because the third level has so many options in it, and they repeat from one path to another. But I was club coach many years ago for the district, and the one thing that I wish that I had was the opportunity to pull some kind of a training program that was an ongoing situation for the coaches. As I told you in one of the emails, I had 2 coaches in one club. It was actually a maritime club. The coaches began fighting each other in front of everybody.
Yeah.
One person was accusing the other one of theft and all kinds of terrible things and writing terrible emails. It didn't help the club.
Yeah.
They're still struggling as it is. But we didn't have quite the training that we should have. And also, I asked the area and division governors if they wouldn't put forward names, because I said, you know your clubs better than I do. I mean, I don't really know who is in C, for God's sakes. I wasn't getting over there. Maybe F, maybe B for sure, but not anywhere else. Mm-hmm. And they would just look at me. You want what? You want us?
I actually don't understand why more area directors aren't signing up as coaches themselves. They're certainly entitled to do it. And
they are.
Interest.
Absolutely. And they should. I'm surprised they're not beating a path to your door, if you want to know the truth.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have the ins and outs on what people can use and need. Elliot wanted to say something. What do you want to say, Elliot?
Oh no, I just found a button. This is my first time.
Okay.
I'm happy listening. It sounds like you guys have been doing this for a while.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess. But anyway, I leave the coaching part to you, but you can see where I'm coming from. I have gone after the people who attended my training, and I was very critical of the previous trainings where we had done things and I was not able to get a hold of the list of the attendees. It disappeared into some dark hole, and boy, I was furious about that because I wanted to find out if I'd hit the right mark with them. And if I hadn't, then I wanted to do a correction or something. And yet, and they, of course, never called back. I passed out cards with my email on it, but nobody ever did. So you see, Kevin has a challenge. He has to repeat the distinguished district thing. 4 clubs that have chartered now. 3 of them I know for sure are corporate clubs. I'm not sure about the 4th one. And he has a couple of clubs to replace. So plus Bet is now off, I think, and she won't be back until October because of her mother's passing. Although I'm not sure about that either. So they have their work cut out for them before the Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year break.
Well, we are a volunteer organization, so we muddle through and do the best we can. Now, Elliot, you're my hero, man. Thanks so much for showing up.
Yeah, you bet.
So, can you tell me a little bit about yourself, your club, and how things are going?
It's been a struggle for a few years. I'm a past president as of 2 months ago. And the club that I was part of was in the city of Eureka. And after several meetings of 1 or 2 people showing up, I sent out an email and said, you guys, either we have a club or we don't. So we had a meeting, and I thought we would just give up the club and merge with another, but they wanted to move to Arcata. So we moved to a new city, which was actually a pretty good idea. There's a university there.
Uh-huh.
And now we kind of have the same problem. So my issues are always going to be around, we seem to be able to get people to come and visit, but then we never see them again. And we're back to 2 or 3 members showing up. I hear stories about clubs down there that have 50 members.
They exist.
There are 1 or 2.
That's amazing. I mean, no problem finding people to fill roles. But what I want to do is get people to stick. And my program is, in support of the new president, is going to be to emphasize pathways and hope that a programmatic approach to becoming a better speaker and building confidence and that kind of thing will get people to stay around. I'm just afraid that it's going to be low numbers. And I don't think the club can survive if 2 or 3 people show up for meetings. What's your experience with that?
No, you're absolutely right. People have to show up, and the roles have to be filled. If somebody comes to visit and you've got 5 people in the room, and 1 person has to be the timer, the grammarian, and the table topics master, it doesn't put across that this is a great, lively club.
Yeah.
And so the energy level just plummets if you don't have 12 people sitting in the room.
Yeah. So what works?
Well, I'm trying to quickly pull up Arcata. What are your meeting times for Arcata?
2nd and 4th Thursday at noon.
Okay, we have Ashley Harkness on this Zoom. Ashley, what are your thoughts about clubs that meet every 2 weeks?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's the best is if they'll meet every week, of course, and the least is if they're once a month, and I'm in both those kinds of clubs. To having it every other week is actually, it will work. There have been plenty of successful clubs. My question, Elliot, was, is there anywhere near you where you can get another club that has week membership and have them come and visit and fill your seats for you. Even if it isn't week membership, but just come and fill your seats. They don't have to join, but they have to, participate. And then when you do have guests, they will see this, and it will be encouraging.
That is a good idea. The only other club within driving distance for us is in Eureka, so it's 7 miles away. And to my knowledge, they're having the same problems. 4 or 5 people showing up at a meeting. It's been alive as a club for quite a while. Since in the 4 or 5 years that I've been a member, they've been pretty active. But I've noticed them declining too. So maybe your suggestion would work if we both agreed to go back and forth.
Yeah, that's Lunch Bunch you're talking about. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
I have another one for you, Elliot, that might help. And that is that in Arcata, there's probably a junior high and a high school.
Yeah.
And you might speak with the administrator and ask if there was some way they could encourage to the parents about the youth leadership program that Toastmasters offers the children for free. It's run by the club. If you haven't done one, it's 8 weeks, once a week, usually 1 or 2 hours, and it instills in the participants a greater set of skills and leadership for speaking and leadership, and their success rates go up very much. Once that's out there, especially since the parents are watching this and they're seeing their kids' grades go up and stuff, they can be drug in as potential members.
Ah.
Oh, yeah. And if the word gets around that your Toastmasters are willing to officiate at a public speaking contest, perhaps in whatever venue, church, school, whatever, and that's made known to them that you're coming from a Toastmasters, this also is another way to do that. Finally, there's the last thing that I would offer you, and that is that years ago up in Eureka, a lady put on a presentation where she went to the city council and said, all of the city services are too busy to tell their stories. My Toastmaster Club will. And they went to the police services, the fire services, the ambulance services, the hospital services, and they said, we're going to go with your stories to all of the service clubs, the high schools, and at the assemblies, and we're going to tell your story for you. So much so that Channel 4 in San Francisco went up there and did a thing on them. This was years ago. I actually have something on that, but you can also contact that lady. I think she's still up there, but to be honest with you, I can't remember her name at the moment. It's been so many years. But the thing is that we can get that kind of information to you, and who knows where your people will run with that. I'll bet you something like this might resonate with one of the people in your club.
That is delightful. How creative. I love that idea. And I'm a retired high school biology teacher in the district that has...
My favorite! Ah! Meiosis, mitosis. I remember those. Ah!
Oh, yes. And I had a good relationship years ago with the folks at the high school, so I know them, and that might help. I like that idea. And having our club members provide service to young people as a step up on whatever it is, career ladders, just personal confidence kinds of issues, sounds like something people can get behind. If it's service to others, that usually works.
Yeah,
I love that.
I did youth leadership last summer for a club. We had one little girl in there who was 6 years old, or no, in 6th grade, and she turned out to be the best speaker of all of them. The high school kids were still picking it up, but yeah, and it spreads like wildfire. Parents want their kids to have every opportunity, and this is a great one. Plus, there's no overhead on them. All I have to do is show up and participate.
Huh. And I can find this program on the website at Toastmasters?
Absolutely. It's a set of manuals. There's manuals for the 2 people who are the people who conduct it and 8 to 10 people who are going to be in it. The cost is always carried by the Toastmaster Club, and it's very small. Yes, it absolutely is. And your division director will know about this. I'm not sure who that person is this year, but they will know about this. And if you look up on the website when they get it updated, you can find my name, you can find Dennis's name up there as chairs for different things, and you can reach us that way. And we'll be more than happy to contact you initially and help you out with this, because the youth are the future of the Toastmasters. And here we are, the people who are benefiting ourselves, and an opportunity to spread it out and make the people around aware. Oh my gosh, it's wonderful.
Yeah. The hesitation that I feel initially is that if we don't have our own members showing up regularly, does that mean that only one person would be putting this on at the high school? I mean, I love the idea, but I might be the only one.
It is designed for one person to run it, usually 2.
Yes.
But I certainly ran 4 youth leadership programs all by myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is that the kids do the work.
Yeah, and is it emphasizing coaching, and then we as the leaders would evaluate them?
They evaluate themselves. We teach them. The thing teaches them the general concerns about evaluation, like, be respectful and stuff like that. But they actually run the meeting themselves. They take over all the roles.
Oh.
Toastmaster meeting.
Yeah, it's just regular Toastmasters, really. I wouldn't even say it's in any way reduced for kids. It's the entire program. You just take the time to explain it to them. There's also some stuff on parliamentary procedure in there, which is really useful.
Oh yeah.
Leadership. Yeah. So they elect club officers and they run the meetings, do the whole thing. It's Toastmasters, but of course you have to be 18 to join Toastmasters. So it's a program that you can actually run with kids.
Yeah, the age limit is 12.
I want to jump back because you disappointed me, Ashley, with your every other week thing. Because one of the things that jumps out at me when I look at clubs that are struggling, I would say 80% of the clubs that are struggling meet every 2 weeks. There are 2 problems with that. One is that people say, "Oh, wait, is this the first or third Thursday? I can't remember. Oh, I missed the meeting. Damn." And the other is that if they miss one meeting, now they've missed a month, and that breaks the Toastmasters habit. So 2 things that I can see right away. You were talking about visiting other clubs. Well, Lunch Bunch is first and second, or first and third, and the other is second and fourth.
Right.
Yeah. So the first thing, now my presentation tonight, which I'm not going to do, I'll record it and post it, was keeping the commitment. And that talks about fulfilling the Toastmasters Promise. Gist of it in my presentation is that we have no control over other people, and that relieves us of a great burden. Right? We can't, as a president, tell people that they have to come to meetings. We can't be the vice president of education and force people to use the competent leadership manual or force them to choose a pathways path. Yeah. All that we can do is be servants, and all we can do is show people how to work the program by working it ourselves. So if you're a retiree, I would strongly urge you to visit both the Lunch Bunch and the Humboldt Bay Toastmasters. They meet Wednesdays, alternate Wednesdays at noon. So it's all noontime clubs. If you've got the opportunity once a week to visit these clubs, first off, you sound like a real character. Are you as pleasant in the meeting as you are here?
Yes, I enjoy people, and diplomacy is important to me, those kinds of things, and the idea of service. So yeah, I'm not somebody who's going to go challenge and stir up.
No, you're somebody who's going to drop in on the meeting and say, oh, do you need a timer today? I'm a great timer. I love it.
Yeah.
And, oh, table topics, I'm there.
Oh, and by the way, it is my obligation to do so. I just agreed to be the area. What am I?
Area director?
Yeah.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
fantastic.
I believe in Toastmasters. I see the magic behind the idea and the need for it out there in the population. So I'm a believer, but I need more tools. I need to see how to catch people, you know, this whole fisherman thing, and keep them and get them to see what it can do for them.
Yeah,
Have you thought about putting together an area council of your clubs and getting the presidents together maybe once a month and discuss issues and problems and concerns?
You may have to repeat the first part of that. I got a computer bump.
Have you thought about forming an area council of the club presidents and having them come and meet with you over maybe dinner or something like that, and discuss not only the issues that they might have in their clubs, but also how they can all work together to achieve the goals singularly or in a group. I had one group which was down in Petaluma where the lady said, I'll feed you all spaghetti and garlic bread if you'll show up. It worked for a whole year. In fact, when she finished her area governorship, it was that long ago, they wanted to continue this, what they call fireside chats, because it was a way for people in the community to get together in a way they hadn't done before. You have that option with your clubs and area councils. When you look at your leadership, your area leadership manual, which they should probably have told you to download, the thing is that it goes into great detail on that. I also know a man named Bill Woolfolk who was been a Toastmaster for a long, long time, and his setting up an area council and then later on a division council with the area directors and keeping his pulse on what was happening was, he said, one of the key points to his being very successful in District 4 in San Francisco so long ago. I mean, there are a lot of these tools that you have at your fingertips that may or may not serve your goals, but certainly you have the opportunity to try them all out. If you need any kind of help on that, I know a bunch of people. I know Dave Plum in Santa Rosa, who is a past area director and division director. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to talk to you on the phone about what they did to make it work for them. Yeah, you're not alone.
That dinner thing is a brilliant idea, and I'm going to claim it.
You got it.
You thought of it, Elliot. Go.
Yeah.
If you want, I can even pass on to you who the people were, and you can talk to them about their results on it, because they were very successful at it. And I know they would want you to be as successful too.
Yeah. Well, I haven't met with these clubs yet, but my feeling is that we're all in the same boat. We're going to have the same issues, and maintaining membership seems like it's universal until you get to that size where it just motivates everybody just because of the numbers.
Well,
Does that follow your experience?
yes and no. The thing is, it may seem like you have to wait until you get 20 members and then everything is going to be fine. But you're never going to get to 20 members if you don't have exciting, interesting, vivacious meetings.
Yeah.
This is where it's like I say, I think that you walk into a room and you brighten it up. So I have a couple of clubs here that are actually pretty good. One has 35 members. The other has 25 at this point. But they weren't really working the education program aggressively, and they certainly weren't working pathways the way they could. And what I did in both cases was take advantage of it, because I like getting the pins and the bling and the whole thing. So every time I complete a speech, I have my next one ready. I don't wait to get it assigned and then write it. I write it so that if a slot becomes available, I can take it. As a result, I finally got it through to these people that completing a level in pathways is not something that's supposed to take a year. It's supposed to take a month. So I got through level 1 of presentation mastery. 2 weeks later, I completed level 2 of presentation mastery. The only reason I'm not going through it any quicker is two. One, I'm preparing for a contest down here, so I'm doing the same speech for various clubs. And the other is that I'm completing my legacy DTM, my second DTM, using the legacy manuals. But once all those are finished, pathways, I'm just going to mow through it and make sure everybody sees it. I use the analogy of the tortoise and the hare. Some people are the tortoise and they want to go slowly. That's their pace. But self-paced education doesn't necessarily mean slow. It just means a pace that's comfortable for you. And you're going to have people who are going to be comfortable going much faster. And you want to schedule them in, get them their speaking opportunities, have them come to your club and speak so that they can whip through this stuff. What's nice is whether you're a tortoise or a hare, you're both winners because we all cross the same finish line.
Right. Well, I like that. And that philosophy of having something ready at every meeting was how I got through the manuals before there was a pathways. And I think I agree with you that just having that example, people talking about their progress, sort of says, I'm comfortable at the slow pace and that's okay, as opposed to, but have somebody also who has a contrast, like you're in my philosophy, where it would be, I'm gonna do a speech every week as long as there's an open slot and I don't step on anybody's toes, because I want to keep moving.
Well, one thing I notice about your club, and just looking, looks like almost all of your members have only been there for 1 to 2 years.
We moved to Arcata just March of last year.
Okay.
So it's virtually a new club. And I think we've turned over the membership that you would see on our list. It's turned over a couple of times since then. And I feel like I really need to come up with something to stop that. I want to keep them.
Do you have a Starbucks in Arcata?
If there's one in Arcata, I don't know about it, but there is in Eureka, just 7 miles south.
I'll tell you what, we had a club that was failing up in Concord just last November. The president wanted to pull a plug on it. We had 4 people turning up. It was pretty dismal. So I helped him set up the idea that what we'll do is an open house. We did it in late January. And the VP of Public Relations of the club put together a flyer and literally papered everything with about a quarter of a mile. All of the laundromats with their bulletin board, the Starbucks, the coffee places, and this is up in Concord, California. They have a lot of this right really close around there. It drew in, she hit a lot of the things too. She was going into businesses and sliding one of the doors. I mean, nothing was slowing her down. It was great.
Wow.
Open house, we had 11 people show up. Brendan Murphy was there as a speaker, incidentally. He's the other person on the call. And he did a great job. And we were able to bring 6 of those people back to the next session, which was an 8-week speechcraft. That was, of course, free to them too. And out of that group, we picked up about, I'd say, maybe 8 possibles and 6 real people. So much so that at the end of the 8-week period, we had a membership of just about 13, 14. A couple of other people came back. It really changed the way the room went, including we picked up a guy who had come in from Chicago, a young guy who had been an area director and been around for 4 years in Toastmasters. So we had a person to take over and give the presidency a new slot. The reason I bring it up is because these kinds of things like an open house and the speechcraft are things that are also available to you and the club to put on. The key to it is how obnoxious your VP of Public Relations can be to get the word out. There was a building in Oakland that I was asked about one time, Oakland, California, and the guy says, I don't know how to reach anybody in the building. And I said, well, what's in the building? He says, well, lawyers. And I said, come on, go down by the elevator on the first floor and look at all the names and go to all those rooms and leave handouts with them. If you get 1 out of 100, you'll have a lot better than what you had before. You mobilize the people, and I'll bet you between all of the schools, churches, public pieces, libraries, and all that kind of stuff going on in Arcata, Eureka, you'll be able to pull in some people.
Well, and all of that's good. Yeah, you definitely want to pull people in. But Elliot, what you're saying is you're not having that much trouble getting people to visit your club. You're just having trouble getting them to stick.
Come back, yes.
Yeah, now here's the deal with this. I say this to my clubs all the time. How often do you have to have an exciting, excellent meeting? And the answer is every meeting, every single time. You can't have an open house and be spectacular, and then the next week you're down to 3 people and nobody has a speech ready.
Yeah.
The other thing you have to be real careful about is don't tell people, come to Toastmasters, we will get you over your fear of public speaking. Because we do that. It's called the icebreaker. So people come, they do an icebreaker, they say, hey, that wasn't so bad. I guess I am graduating Toastmasters early. Yeah.
I've seen that a couple times, yeah.
Yeah, no, I've been in Toastmasters for 12 years. When I joined Toastmasters, I had no problem speaking in public. Why am I still in the organization? To improve my public speaking and leadership skills. And I continue to build them week after week, year after year. It's like they say, if you get out of Toastmasters, all you can get out of Toastmasters, you never get out of Toastmasters. But this is the thing that we need to instill in people as they're coming in. Now, I want to know, if you decided that you wanted to meet every week instead of every other week, is there anything in your meeting space where they wouldn't allow that? Or would it be okay?
I believe it would be okay. It's a government laboratory building, and 2 of the members have offices in there, and so it's free and it's secure.
Okay. So I'm not suggesting that you say, hey, let's change the bylaws, we're a weekly club from now on. This is what I would suggest, that you say, hey, everybody, we're going to knock out Pathways Level 1. Are you in? We're going to meet every week. We're going to have 3 speakers per meeting, and we're going to get this shit done. What do you think? And see if you can't get people excited and charged about really aggressively going after the educational program. Because what I find is when people are working the program, and you can have whatever incentives are going to make people happy there, you know, a barbecue, gift cards, what have you. Get people in there when they earn their level, get them the Toastmasters pin that they can wear to the meetings. And if you can get that kind of excitement rolling, that momentum will carry you forward. Then you can decide. I think honestly, if you were to say, hey, for the next 8 weeks, we're going to meet once a week, you in? They're in. If you can get them to do it for 8 weeks, they'll probably want to keep doing it.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, so like I say, you don't want to say, we're meeting every week forever, amen. You say, let's just try this experiment and see how it feels.
Yeah.
And you can try that with all of your area clubs, in fact.
Yeah. You guys are full of great suggestions. I'm gonna
We'll send you a bill.
Well, when I have my club meeting tomorrow, I'm going to tell both of the attendees how excited I am. That's a joke.
I'm sad to hear it's a joke.
Yeah.
You're talking to two Toastmaster geeks here, Elliot. We'll be honest. We love this organization. We love what it does for people. We've seen the changes it makes in people's lives, and we just want to get the word out. So that's why I'm having this call. I know that it's difficult for you to get to a training session in San Ramon from Eureka.
Yeah.
So that's what we're here for, and we have this tool now. We finally have this Zoom tool where we can have a face-to-face meeting, in effect, across hundreds of miles.
Super. Well, I've been with Toastmasters long enough, whatever it is, 5 years maybe, that I'm a believer, and I feel hungry to get the word out, because I believe from my teaching experience and just living in the community, I believe there's a need for it, and a lot of people who consciously or unconsciously know that they want that and are just would welcome a place to do it. So I feel like it should have happened yesterday. And I'm also frustrated because it's not happening. In any of the clubs that I've been in, that I've been a member in, it's been a struggle. So I think I agree with you that education is the tool. I just volunteered to be the vice president of Pathways, which is going to get me immersed in it and learn how it works so that I can help pass it on.
Are you coming to the luncheon that's going to happen in a couple of weeks for Pathways?
Let's see, is that on the 28th?
Yeah.
I believe it is. I don't have my calendar out.
I told myself I'm not willing to drive down there, but I did agree to go to that one since I'm going to be the VP Pathways.
Fantastic. Yeah, I plan to go too, so we can meet then.
Yeah, super. Well, you guys are great. Come up and give a speech.
Love to. What do you want to hear about? I do a great thing in November about home fire safety. That's the Fire Protection Month celebration.
Oh.
I'm serious. I'm serious about it. I'm in the National Fire Protection Agency, and I'm very serious about fire protection in homes. And people.
Is this the kind of thing where you want 100 feet of safety ring around the house, or?
No. It's the kind of thing that, like, you practice fire drills with your family so they know what to do and where to meet. And then it also inures you to the difficulty that you are going to have when your teenage daughter, who you have grounded and is not to leave home, is caught climbing out of the second-story window using the fire ladder, and proposes that she is really practicing egress techniques.
I love it.
Yeah. The whole point of it is people are, when you talk about speeches, there's the Toastmaster speech about how wonderful it is to be a Toastmaster. And then there's the one that is designed to save the lives of the people around you. And I spent the last 4 years at work before I retired teaching electricians how to survive being killed by electricity. I think that if that's going to be what our legacy is in this group, that we save lives, I think I'm all on for that. And I have no problem going anywhere, anytime to talk about fire safety, because I know a lot about it. My point is that I'm not the only person that you can touch in this organization for that. Dennis has got a lot of skills in a lot of different areas, and we are just two little heads talking to you out of a group of over 3,000. We're all more than willing to come and help us whatever we want. It'll help your club. It'll help your people. It'll help Toastmasters. And ultimately, it'll help the world. How about that?
Yeah.
Like,
Just 7 billion people that need Toastmasters. We have our work cut out for us.
Yeah. Well,
now, Elliot, before we get off the long here, you know how to get in touch with us.
I have the link that got me to this meeting.
Okay.
And that means that you've got my email, DennisSDawson@gmail.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Okay.
You can get to me through aharkness955@gmail. And I'm also, like I said, the corporate club chair. That's showing up eventually on the website. But the reason is it's an invitation for you not to disconnect with us.
Yeah.
Because not only do we want to help you, we want to hear how it's working so we can spread the word. And we also want to hear what doesn't work so we can spread that word too.
Yeah.
But we're all in this together. Your division director is very concerned about how well you're doing. And the people in your clubs probably are in your area are wondering when you're going to show up and talk to them and have some fun with that. That's all. I loved being an area director. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it. And I feel like you guys have put a couple of tools in my tool belt here that I can suggest and help unify the groups. You know, there is this Humboldt group. I keep saying that they exist, but I don't have a printout of who the president is or anything. I'm going to have to bug Terry about that. But I appreciate, as soon as this meeting's over, I'm going to have to write down 5 or 6 things that you suggested that I can put to work right away. And so I can feel my enthusiasm building here.
Good.
Get your club presidents together too and have them help you on these things. Do this as a team because you shouldn't try and do it alone.
Yeah.
So next week's call is about pathways. And if you would do me the great service of encouraging your club, say, hey, this call I was on the other night, it was pretty cool. I talked to 2 old geezers who like nothing better than talking about stupid Toastmasters. So why don't you dial in? Maybe we can get some intelligent answers if we ask intelligent questions. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't wait at all to reach out to us. I want to know any questions you have, anything that's working for you. I will steal your ideas and use them elsewhere.
Well, I'm stealing yours.
Go ahead.
I'm stealing yours.
That's what an area director does. There's nothing in your life that prepares you to be an area director. There's no job like it. You go into a club and you observe and you pay attention. You see what's working and you see that maybe they give a chocolate bar at the end of table topics. That's something I saw one time. So I go to the next club. They say, well, people don't get excited about table topics. Have you tried giving them a chocolate bar? Oh, what a great idea. You know. So the area director becomes an area director by visiting clubs, stealing the ideas, talking to other area directors, stealing their ideas. And after a year, you're so good at it, and now you don't get to be an area director anymore. But that's something that you pass on to the 4 presidents, so they want to be area directors.
Yeah, yeah. Well, very good. I really appreciate the experience that you guys have offered here tonight. And I don't think oh, yeah, your names just popped up. So I'm going to write down Ashley and Kevin.
Actually, that's Dennis Dawson. He's using Kevin's login to get into Zoom, but that's Dennis Dawson, past district governor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're labeled wrong there. All right. Well, I'm assuming that I've run us. out the time limit. I have 8 o'clock.
Oh, yes.
There's always time.
We value everybody's time, so we're going to wrap it up. But I'm going to send you an email right now, and we'll be in contact. I'll see you next week.
Okay, and would you put Ashley's name and email on that too?
Oh, you don't want? Oh, yeah. Yes, of course I will.
Okay.
Good luck, Elliot. Good luck. We're counting on you.
All right, thank you very much, and I appreciate all of your suggestions.
Thank you. We'll talk to you soon.
Good night, gentlemen.
Good night.